This is an SM Media production.
Hi, folks, and welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media Pro Wrestling Show. I'm Scott McPike. It is a pleasure, as always, to be your host. Scott Young is with me, as always, mate. It's a pleasure. Thank you. We've got a busy weekend to talk about.
We don't have. We've got 20 matches to cover, give or take.
Yeah.
That's been fun.
14 for one, 6 for the other. Like, don't think we're far off.
12 for Double or Nothing, and 6, so 18 overall.
18. I knew it was quite high in the margin. When they were on for a couple of weeks, we knew we were obviously doing Double or Nothing and King Queen of the Ring. Just been fairly wild. End of the football season, but kind of in wrestling mode for now. Scott, again, WWE and AEW running the same weekend, I always think is quite dangerous for a wrestling fan because we maybe unfairly compare them to each other, right? When they're very different products. I thought both shows were very, very solid. But one was 3 hours and one was, 6.5, including pre-show?
Yeah. That's an issue.
Yeah. And I sort of think back to how I felt at WrestleMania. See, when WrestleMania was one night, that's how I felt watching Double or Nothing. And I know I didn't watch it live. I didn't watch either of them live because I was so busy, and you were as well. But I watched them back, and there was wee bits I was fast forwarding with Double or Nothing because it was too long. There was a lot of stuff in there. I was like, that could have been in Dynamite. That could have been on a good episode of Collision. Like,
we were speaking about this over text. My main issue with AEW at the moment is the fact that, I mean, you can take it's a good or a bad thing. Good from the good from like a money, financial point of view for us as fans, but not great for telly in terms of you've got 2-3 months between each pay-per-view. So you've got 3 months of storyline to fit into one card.
Yeah.
Whereas on the WWE side of things, it's monthly, sometimes 2 a month.
And there's a split brand, and there's a brand split.
Yeah, brand split. So you've only got a month's, maybe even a few weeks worth of story to fit in one card. So, but I also think in WWE point of view, I still think 5 matches isn't enough. Like, there was no Damien Priest on this show. You could have very easily, you want to establish World Heavyweight title. You want people have said Damien Priest a mid-carder with a main event belt. You need to put him on a pay-per-view. Like, you could have very, very easily had Damien Priest versus Braun Strowman in this card.
But is the argument to that?
Braun Strowman's kind of.
Is the argument to that though not the next pay-per-view, which we know where it's going to be, we know what's going to main event is going to be Priest and Drew. So is the argument to that?
Why can you not have Priest on this card and Priest on that card? You can have if you want Damien Priest. People have said Damien Priest is World Heavyweight's a mid-card belt as long as Damien Priest has got it. You need to quash those accusations.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is have your World Heavyweight Champion on a PLE.
I don't disagree.
So why not have him versus? I still think Braun Strowman would be perfect. So two big men have a good match. Braun Strowman he's sort of in with the Judgment Day feud. He's facing JD the night on Raw.
Yeah.
So you could have easily stuck that match in this card. Or Damien Priest versus someone else.
Yeah.
So, or even have Damien Priest and Drew McIntyre have the contract signing for Clash. Put that in the card. Something like that. I still think you need more than a 5-match card. I still think I'd rather a 5-match card than a 12-match card. But I still think there's a balance that needs to be found. One company's too short and the other one's too long.
Right. let's kind of go through. We're not going to go through each match individually. We'll kind of gloss over and pick out kind of certain points. Obviously, we had King, Queen of the Ring. Liv beat Becky to become new Women's World Champion with help from a certain Mr. Mysterio. I was surprised they did it. I thought they were going to build up Liv as the kind of second place again kind of thing. But again, it's quite I'm very intrigued. I know you are, but I'm very intrigued to see what happens here, because if they go down the route of Dom leaves Rhea because he's been manipulated by Liv, if they go down that route, that's got the makings of a very, very good long-term story. But again, I'll go back to what I said when they made Becky champion in the first place. I was like, now, what was the point? I'm like, that, in my opinion,
Liv winning it a singles match is much better than her winning a Battle Royal.
Maybe. Don't disagree, but can Liv hold it for as long as she's going to have to? Like, because
if Liv could hold it, I still think we're building to Liv, Finn, and Dom. Liv, Finn, Dom, and JD kicking out the two original Judgment Day members of Rhea and Damien. I think that's where we're going. And then you can maybe have, because Finn and Liv, don't even remember when it was Rhea, Edge, and Damien Priest.
bringing in Carlito as well.
Oh, Carlito's there for some reason. I don't know why he's there. But the original Judgment Day feud was Edge, Rhea Ripley, Damien Priest versus Finn, AJ, and Liv.
Yeah.
So Finn and Liv have got this history with the Judgment Day back when it was a goth group. Well, it still is goth, but a bit more goth than it is now. So I still think there is the storyline there. Finn hasn't been wearing his bandana, if you notice that. He's not been wearing his Judgment Day sort of thing around his neck.
Came out a car.
He looks like a cowboy. He came out of car with Liv. To be fair, I wouldn't mind doing that, but that's a different point. But I still think there's a lot of Triple H loves an Easter egg in the background of shots, and
there's been a lot of them lately.
That wasn't accidental.
No.
These haven't been accidental. So I think we're building something there, and I'm quite intrigued for it. And Carlito is also there.
Yeah, I mean, we are clearly getting something. I'm just not sure. I don't know when we're getting Rhea back. We're getting Rhea back at SummerSlam. Can Liv hold it that long and keep it going?
Only a couple of months.
Yeah, like I'm intrigued here. I think Becky just needs a bit of time away.
What does this mean for Becky's contract? But
well, that's what I was going to get into as well, because obviously there's been talk of that as well. Seth's re-signed. I'm right there, aren't I? That's been confirmed.
Yeah, Seth's re-signed.
There's no way Becky's not re-signing.
No.
Like, I think she was planning on taking time away after Mania, and obviously with the re-injury, they called her back. My worry is that who can Becky Liv really work with in the babyface point of view if Becky's not there? Like, quite thin in the ground, because Damage Control are all heels. Lyra, I know she had a really good show to get into, but are you maybe spoiling Lyra? Because she can't really lose Queen of the Ring, then go into a feud with Liv and lose straight away, can she? Because she's probably a long-term project.
You're going to get more out of a competitive 20-minute loss than like a DQ or a count out or something like that. This protecting the wrestler for the DQ is bullshit, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's much better if you lose a 20-minute competitive match against a top star, which Liv Morgan is a top star. Let's be completely honest. Got the look,
and she's a lot better. She's a lot better in the ring. Like, that's one thing I noticed all night. She was a lot better in the ring.
You could very easily. I don't know what the script where is, but what's Carmella up to?
No, you maybe got Alexa as well.
And
yeah,
even
possibly.
I just on the website now. The women's tag float. So Bianca and Jade are both going to be on Raw. So you could very easily, because they done it in the pandemic when Sasha and Bailey were champs. Bailey went for the Raw Women's title because she could titles could float. She was on both brands.
Yeah.
So you could very easily run Bianca versus Liv or Jade versus Liv,
Yeah, maybe.
or even someone like you could do Roxanne
Yeah.
because you done it with Kevin Owens against John Cena. So
Yeah.
I think there is options there. I do
Yeah.
see what you mean about being thin on the ground, but there
The,
are
well,
options
the
out
ones
there.
that I was going to come on, and they're kind of just kind of short term, just to try and get to kind of Rhea, is Zoe, Natalia, and Shayna. That was the kind of three. Like, I was thinking, you might do some with them for a couple of months just to try and kind of get Liv a couple of because I don't think they'll do Becky. They're doing Becky Monday night. I think there'll be something there just to kind of shut that feud down, and then they'll move on. On to the Intercontinental, Sammy. Yeah, maybe.
Kiana's there.
Maybe. Sammy beat Chad and Bronson. Right? It's clearly that Chad is going to. I think Chad is going to win at some point over the next few weeks. And Sammy's going on to win Money in the Bank. But I think what they're doing with Chad right now is pretty good.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I think another thing I've always said is you give someone a story rather than a win.
Yeah.
Chad losing to Sammy before Mania and Sammy after Mania is the best thing that's happened to Chad Gable.
Yeah.
You could have given him the big babyface pop at Mania, him beat Gunter, but then what do you do? This is much more intriguing because you've got the Creed brothers that kind of just hover about. You've got a certain bald Olympian
Do you
who
think
said he
he's
wants to
involved?
be
Do
a
you think he's
manager.
going to be involved? I don't know.
The fact they're chanting "You suck" to
Yeah.
the theme of Kurt Angle, I don't think he was gonna. But Triple H isn't a stupid man,
Nah.
and he hears the "You suck" Kurt Angle chant. He's on the phone because I mean Kurt, what been pals for years.
Yeah.
With the DX
It'd
segment
be
at Raw
really good.
was it Raw 30?
Because
Aye.
you can essentially do a new Alpha Academy with Creed and Ivy Nile. Like, that's probably
Yeah.
what they're doing because they're going to, and I think
Could you
Creed
put Ivy in that?
probably, yeah. Oh, you need some. You
Yeah.
need somebody for Maxine. And that's kind of been teased already. And
Yeah.
I
So
think the
you've
Creed
got
brothers
that's
are
the most
probably going to.
one-sided feud. That's the most one-sided feud I've ever seen in life.
I
You've
think
got
it
Otis,
leads to.
Tozawa, and Maxine.
I think Creed brothers are going to be the ones to beat Miz and Truth.
Just as long as it's someone. I'm sick of them.
Yeah,
Like you had your Mania moment, you had your fun, you had your Cena moment Raw after Mania. It's been fun. Now give them to a team who can have good matches.
Yeah.
Because Truth's about 55-year-old and Cena and Miz isn't far off that.
We've got a new Queen of the Ring, and it's Nia Jax. And I was someone who wanted Tiffany. I think that's fairly obvious that I wanted Tiffany. Tiffany's got a briefcase she'll be winning shortly, so I think putting Nia in this position. When they mentioned SummerSlam, I was like, they're giving this to Nia. They're building this to be Nia and Bailey, and Tiff's going to cash in. That's what's.
I've never seen a literal squash match before. I've seen a squash match, but I've never seen someone get literally squashed.
The ending was brilliant. Like it was so well done. I thought it was an accident at first.
Yeah,
like that's what you want, though.
I still think we had on the other show, but we got into it. We had a flamethrower, which some get ran down by a motor. We had a barbed wire through a table, but that ending to that match was a brutal spot of the weekend. I'm not having anyone tell me otherwise.
She deserves it, though. She's
been great.
She's been very, very good, and this is someone who has had a very, very weird time in WWE because obviously she has been presented as the dominant force. She has. She's won a title. She won at WrestleMania beating Alexa Bliss where she was being bullied, right? She then went on to obviously cause the Becky Lynch thing. She then get fired, came back, hasn't really been liked by the fans. But see the way she is now. That's kind of I think this is the best version of Nia we've seen.
Yeah. She's been you could argue I'm gonna plug my article. I done an article for us about Triple H's reign of terror, I called it. Creative reign of terror. And then I spoke about signings. And I mentioned in that he had two main signings who, unfortunately, aren't wrestling on for different reasons. You had Bray Wyatt, obviously, who's passed away, and CM Punk, who's now injured.
Mm-hmm.
But then the rest of them, your Naomi's, your Johnny Gargano's, your Nia Jax's, I call them depth guys, which they were. They got brought into a depth roster.
Yeah.
I always go back to Mania 38. They didn't have an Andre Battle Royal because they didn't have enough people.
Mm-hmm.
And now Triple H just fixed that by signing a bunch of guys. And Nia Jax, you could put as one of the best re-signings that he's made. She's definitely up there.
Oh,
I can't, off the top of my head, can't think of any more.
yeah, she's up there. She's up there. She's been very, very good. And she's
most improved as well. Like,
yeah,
she hasn't botched much, which
far
isn't
better. Far better. I noticed that as well because her and Lyra really shouldn't work.
No.
But it was good. It was good. And I think Lyra, I think Lyra is a long-term project. I wouldn't be surprised if she's like if it's like her and Becky or something at Mania. Like I think that I'm not sure they're going to feed her to live and have her kind of that in that position straight away. Speaking of the King of the Ring, if you had said a few years ago if they bring back King of the Ring, who's the perfect fit to wear that crown? It's without a doubt Gunther. Like,
yeah,
he is so suited to that, and I don't think he's going to be wearing a robe. He's going to be just the cat. Do you know what I mean? He's just going to be the next level.
I mean, you've got the nickname. If they don't call him the King General, then
that's where I was going, and I didn't know if it was going to be cringy enough. But you had the tease with Randy and Cody, which we'll get into later. But Gunther's the right call here, and he was from the start. As soon as he announced it, he was he's going to win this.
Yeah,
there's literally.
Still think there's something you could have done with Jay versus Tama, but this match you can't really argue with Gunther.
100% right, and
so
the right opponent as well, the right finalist. I mean, it just worked perfectly.
What did you think about the ending? Do you think it was botched?
I don't think it was.
Or do you think it was legit?
I don't think it was.
Sorry, not legit, like planned.
I think it was smooth as it probably was going to be, but I don't know if that was the original.
His shoulder about 4 yards off the ground.
What does that do though? Like, I thought at first it was quite
to run it in Glasgow.
What?
You could run. You could easily. I think Triple H said Gunther's won referee decision final, but he also said both men don't want to end it that way.
Yeah.
So they could easily run the match back.
Do you think it was just to make Randy look good while kind of protecting Gunther? Like I
still think it was botched. I think
it might have
the
been
same as Mania 35, where Ronda's shoulders were up.
Maybe. I think the way it's the way as well, and this is really good from what this wouldn't have happened 2 years ago. It's the way Triple H is straight out, and he's like, I mean that isn't happening. That's just like ignored. That would have just if it was a botch, it would have just been ignored. It's the way it's been kind of built now, is I think is really good booking. We got a tease, and this leads on to the kind of main event. We got a tease, obviously, of Randy and Cody, and there's been wee kind of forensic analysis done that Randy didn't take his eye off the title while he was talking to Cody, and is this leading to SummerSlam? And again, before we get into Cody, Logan Paul was ridiculous in this match.
He's not a celebrity anymore. He just is a wrestler.
And
he's a bloody good one.
The brilliant thing as well is he is being presented so well. Do you know what I mean? The pre-match stuff in SmackDown where he brought out that silly lawyer who was clearly just Vince. That's clearly what he was presented to be. He was presented as what Vince.
I wouldn't have Vince as a lawyer at the moment. Jesus.
No, but what I mean,
like
that was the first. Like they have just went and found a Vince lookalike and said, "Behave like Vince used to behave without pretending you're Vince McMahon."
I wouldn't pretend like Vince used to behave. Let's move on from that.
Logan and we spoke a lot about this. What did Cody have to work with in terms of heels? Again, it worked brilliantly. It was a bit of a farce with the double championship thing. I don't know what that was all about, but this was fine. And again, you had the wee spot with Logan and Cole, which I thought was pretty good. And Cody needs that. This was there wasn't too much of Dusty mentioned. There wasn't. It was mainly how a feud should be. It shouldn't be about Cody talking about his dad all the time. This was just a good program, and I thought Gunther and Randy was best match tonight, but I thought just for nonsense, this was the best.
Yeah, I would still put Roman Logan above it.
Yes,
I think Roman
I
Logan.
think you're right.
I still think Logan's best match.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. I don't think that's as far
I'd
off.
put that above it, but the drone shot. Let's talk about the drone shot. So I've never been so happy for someone to lose their job in my life, apart from maybe Michael Beale, than Kevin Dunn.
Yeah, I mean that was always the camera work recently. Go back to the entrance with
Did you see Logan's Instagram?
No, don't think
Logan pitched the drone a year ago. May 2023 said with the upcoming 2 PLE, I've got this great idea for a drone shot. This was after he'd done the frog splash on Roman late 2022. And he said, I've got this great idea for a frog splash through the table. I want a drone shot for it.
Mm-hmm.
And he never really got a reply. That was a year ago. And they've now done it. So I think and it looked phenomenal. Like the production levels of WWE at the moment's gone through the roof.
Yeah.
Since Kevin Dunn, I don't know what happened to him, he died or something, I don't know. Oh, they left, sacked, whatever, quit. He got a big payout, but
He's taken out in the shot. But again, a really good show. And it didn't feel like 3 hours long. It just flew by. Like I watched it on Sunday morning, and it just flew by. Like everything, and there was a wee bit of Double or Nothing as well into where I was kind of losing focus a wee bit, but throughout this, I didn't lose focus once. It was just such a good show, and everything just clicked. Lynch Morgan was, I think Lynch Morgan was very good. The Intercontinental was really good.
It wasn't a bad match, Nicole.
I don't think it was a weak match. I don't think it was a weak match in Double or Nothing either, but I just think.
No, it was only a weak match the weekend.
Compact this is just, I think it's the right way to go. For me, this is what it should be. 5 matches. There's enough build. There's enough time.
I think you could have had 7 or 8 is a good balance. Because both rosters are good enough, you can have 7 or 8 matches on the card.
Well, the one thing that jumps out is that all these matches got a lot of time. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm just gonna go through the timings now, just to make sure I'm right. Liv Becky get 16, the Intercontinental get 14, Nia Lyra was 10, Gunther Randy was 22, and Cody Logan was 25. And that's really good for a 3-hour show.
They'll get decent enough time to breathe.
Yeah, and that to me is just what it should be, is because we're getting a lot of events. I mean, we're getting a pay-per-view every 3 weeks. Disney need to be 7-8 matches, and really good. On to Double or Nothing. We'll kind of gloss over the pre-show matches. We've got Deonna beating Thunder Rosa, which was fine, and then you had the Acclaimed against Cage of Agony. Again, was fine. I thought match of the night was the opener. I thought Ospreay and Strong was just insane. And I'm coming across as Dave Meltzer because I keep raving about Ospreay. But
how can you not
could literally put him in with anything. You could put him in. There's a brush just behind my microphone here. He would have a 7 out of 10 match with that. What do you think about giving him the international title? Because they obviously mentioned in the pre-show that the winner of the Owen Hart Cup gets the shot at All In. Do you do title versus title with him and Swerve at Wembley? Because he is perfect for the Owen Hart Cup. He's top rank for that for me.
I think there's someone else who could win the Owen Hart Cup, which we'll probably get onto.
Well,
next probably we'll get onto it, but I think my thought was always you do Ospreay Swerve at Wembley. Ospreay win it in front of 90,000 in hometown or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great. But I I still think there's someone else on that we'll get into in the next 5 minutes that could very easily also win the Owen.
You've also got the thing as well, and what can kind of keep Ospreay busy with the title is you've obviously he's still doing the stuff with Don Callis, which is getting a bit tiresome.
Just
But-
let Will Ospreay be Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
Just let him have 5-star match every week.
Like, there was just a lot in this that he was. It's just really good. I mean, it was the right call to go on first as well. Like,
Yeah.
very, very good. Again, Ospreay's just been a sublime bit of business for AEW. We obviously then after that got Adam Cole coming out, and there was talk over the past couple of days that there was going to be a major surprise at the start of Double or Nothing. And as soon as Adam Cole came out, I was like, right, okay, because I avoided spoilers for this before I watched it.
I knew that it was going.
The way
I'm so happy.
I mean, we spoke about this as well. How do you bring him back? We've spoke about this a lot. Dressing him like Triple H and doing the Ric Flair elbow in the devil mask was not up there for how I would have brought him back, but it was such the best way to do it. I mean,
yeah,
he's back and
was,
he looks a lot more ripped than he did.
He's so tanned. He's been at the sunbeds.
Yeah.
Bad in the sunbeds. And
Jinky's back. Jinky's back. Jinky's fit.
Yeah.
I hope so.
He's match fit.
Yeah, I hope he is.
I say there's very few people in wrestling that have the magic that I think a lot that MJF has. I think CM Punk is one. I think Bray Wyatt was one. And as soon as MJF has a microphone, every single man, woman, and child in that room, eyeballs are fixed on him.
The promo was brilliant.
And that takes talent. And there's very few people that can have the shambolic 4 months that he had at the end of 2023 and fix it in 5-minute promo.
I'm imagining
everything post Wembley was pretty
rubbish,
poor.
Yeah.
They had the Omega match on Collision, which was good. Apart from that, you had nothing else. Everything else was kangaroo. It was funny, it was entertaining, but it wasn't good. It wasn't MJF.
I'm going on the assumption that the person you mentioned for the One Art Cup is Mr. Friedman.
Yes. I think MJF would be perfect for this cup.
Okay.
I think having MJF win the Owen Hart Cup as someone who has always been, he's always kind of mentioned he's a Bret Hart guy. He's always mentioned he's a Bret Hart guy. So I think him winning an Owen Hart Cup and also winning a cup that Adam Cole has also won, that kind of keeps them parallel with each other.
Let's just get that finished though. Like, let's just, I don't know what
that is. Finish it on Rampage or something.
Is Wrestle Dream next? Just do it quick. I don't know.
No, Wrestle Dream not till October.
No, I think they've changed it because the next Forbidden Door is in end of June. So we've got Forbidden Door before All In, so they might not do it. I think they just need to. That's why I'm beginning. That's why I think they'll go Cole MJF at All In. I think that's what they'll do. They'll do that.
You could have Cole cost MJF the Owen final.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, because we don't know.
MJF Ospreay. That'd be fun.
We don't know if Cole's ready. Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at as well. If they can do it quick, let's do it. But I think they'll wait till All In, and I think Ospreay will win the Owen Hart Cup. I've got a theory for the women's one that we'll get into in a minute. But MJF's back. Jay White finally looked like how he should have looked. I thought he looked excellent in this 6-man. Yeah, like just building him and Pac. Do you know what I mean? Him and Pac makes a lot of sense. Like, just build Jay White as what he is, which is one of your best workers. Like, it's not hard.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was the best way to do it. I really liked Storm and Deeb. Like, I thought it was one of the best matches on the card. The build was piss poor, to be honest. But the way it's really hard. We don't know what we're getting here. A Storm, a face, or a heel. We don't know.
That's what I was going to say.
Like,
it could have been much better if they really cemented who was who.
yeah,
Like Asta, Serena Deeb has always been a very good technical wrestler,
yeah,
but she's a very good mid card technical wrestler.
yeah.
She's not a main eventer.
This is a good.
Like her and
it's-
Mercedes should
yeah.
very easily swap places in this card.
Well,
City, who will get on?
yeah, we'll get onto that. I just don't get the build has just been fairly strange because we don't know. 1 week she's a babyface, 1 week she's a heel. I think we are getting her and Mariah May. I think that's going to be the ultimate. Like, I don't know whether we get it all in, but we're building towards Mariah May doing I forget the film that they're trying to copy, but they're obviously trying to get Mariah May copying Tony Storm, and they're going to.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting. I don't know when they do it, but again, the match was
the
match was
all
good.
in the match. You could do the turn it all in the match at all out.
Well, who does she face it all in?
Mercedes.
Well,
Sharia. You could have Mercedes win the Open and then have her face Pony it all in.
yeah, maybe. Cassidy and Beretta was fine. Again, you kind
Doesn't
of
need to be there.
doesn't. That was what I was kind of getting at. This could have been a main event of Collision.
Yeah.
Another match that shouldn't have been in, and it just I'm getting sick. I'm getting sick of it. And I was someone who was really getting invested in Brian Keith.
I like Brian Keith. Not
Why? Why? What? For the start, Jericho looks a disgrace. Like, Jericho,
horrendous.
like, terrible. I'm not Ryan Gosling. Don't get me wrong, but I certainly know that.
Yeah.
Jericho just looks terrible, and Shibata was there to take the fall. Hook is probably going to be the long-term winner of this, which he needs to be. But Ryan Keith did not need this. He doesn't need to be involved in this. Keep him away, but again...
Chris Jericho stuff. I've seen some folks say, "Oh, Chris Jericho's saving." No, he's not.
If you think this is good work, your view of wrestling is completely different to ours, because
yes,
people know this watching this show. I think I've been very vocal on this. Chris Jericho's been one of my favourite wrestlers over the past 20 years. Like, just how many characters has he made work? This isn't good. This is destroying his reputation. This is just making people like me just go, right, Jericho, I know you were good, but now you're just ruining it.
You know what it's like? You know how there was a famous Undertaker quote. Undertaker came out, this was 2010, 2011, he came out and said, "I don't want to be the guy whose that when a dad is watching wrestling with his kid, the dad would turn to the kid and go, I remember when he was good." For Undertaker kind of became that, but that's a different story. Chris Jericho has became that. Me and you, right, obviously, we would sit down, we remember, like my first year watching wrestling was 2009, and that was Chris Jericho with the short hair, world heavyweight, the Intercontinental with Rey Mysterio. I'm the best in the world at what I do. Like, and now he's just an old man. He's like, I remember watching. I went to music. My sister was telling my story. She went to a music festival and she saw, who was it? She went to see someone live who was good in like 2005, and then she went to see them again, but 10 years later, and they tried the same shtick and it just didn't work.
Well, he's doing what the Rolling Stones are doing, just touring until they can, and I'm like, yeah, you've got the thing of you've saw the Rolling Stones, but it's not the Rolling Stones. It's not the same.
Pebbles.
Why Taker was able to do it for so long was he could until Punk, he was able to do it. He was able to still. Taker's best WrestleMania matches were towards the end of his streak. Like, He had 5 really good
24,
ones in a row.
25, 26, 27, 28, 29.
Yeah. So he was able to do it towards
And even
the end.
some of the ones after that
Yeah.
were decent.
Like the Roman one's actually pretty good match when you watch it back. Like,
The
and
AJ one is fun.
the AJ one's fun as well, despite the fact. But this isn't good to watch. It's horrible because it's not. I'm just watching it with anger because I'm like, no, I don't mind Jericho being there. Like, I don't think he's still. I mean, I don't know if he's been doing commentary as much, but I can't really think off the top of my head. But I mean, it was fairly good in commentary for a while. Just keep him. I mean, if you want to keep him there, keep him there. But
Do you know he's had the second most number of matches on AEW pay-per-views?
yeah, exactly.
It's the Young Bucks are 1 and well, the Young Bucks are 1 and 2 on 28. Then it's Jericho.
And this might sound controversial, but I was one of the people at the time going, he's the absolute right choice to be the first champion because AEW needed that guy.
Yeah.
And he managed to do
They need a recognisable face to.
He did the inner circle,
hold it
the
out.
champion stuff. That was good. And then he had the Ocho stuff, which was fine. And then you had the kind of. I think after the Ocho stuff, he should have just stopped. That should have been. That's as good as it's going to get. Move on. But he kind of wants to do the. I think the perfect thing should have been him and Ospreay last year at All In retirement match.
Yeah.
And that's it. But no, he seems to keep this going on. I thought the show was fairly predictable. The one result I was quite surprised by was Moxley Takeshita. I thought Takeshita probably needed that win. But again,
I think that's a political thing. I think New Japan went to Tony and went, "We can't have your champ." Maybe this is not an exact quote. "We can't have your champion lose his first defense."
it wasn't defense, so it was an eliminate. It was a.
No, but we can't have our champion being pinned.
You could have done it by shenanigans, though. You could have done something.
Yeah, you could have.
Gallus is there.
I think if it was up to Tony alone, I think Takeshita would have won it.
Yeah.
But I think New Japan obviously are going to have a say in their champion on a pay-per-view.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He still looks pretty. I mean, I thought he came out looking strong. Takeshita, like he looked good at the end, and I get why. I just felt it was maybe something he needed because he's done a lot of. I mean, he's had some really good matches, but you just felt you need that win. He needs that win to just kind of kick him on.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. He's not really had a big win.
Can't think, man. You know.
No,
I think he pick up
Ospreay.
Did he pick up the pin?
Obviously,
Did he pin Omega All In? Am I right in saying that? But that was a six. That was a six.
That rings a bell, yeah.
That was a 6-man.
Yeah, it was him, Hangman, and Omega, Hangman, and Ibushi.
Yeah, that's right.
Who's the other team?
It was Takeshita, Hobbs, and Fletcher. Was it Fletcher? Sure, it was. But
let's find out.
I mean, Moxley. It was fine. It was a good match. It was very, very solid.
Oh, it was Bullet Club Gold.
So
it was Jay White, Juice Robinson, Takeshita.
Yeah.
Versus Hangman, Omega, and Ibushi.
Yeah. But fine. Next match was the steel cage for the TNT title. You seen this?
This was wild. This was fun, wasn't it?
It was.
I had a lot of fun with this.
There was a lot of blood.
Of course it was. It was an AEW match.
It was what I thought it would be. Very, very enjoyable. Was waiting and Gangrel showing up.
Wire. I thought the barbed wire would be like round the full cage. I didn't. It was just from the top. I think it was more of a thing to stop. There was a black getting in, but they got in anyway.
Why did they make it look as if they were the House of Black was turning on Malachi? Why did they do that?
I don't know. I don't know if that was deliberate or that was just us being wrestling fans. But yeah, it was weird.
But Gangrel showing up was pretty fun. Like I think we were all expecting it, but
that was purely done because of what Adam Copeland said. I still call him Edge because of what Copeland said that Chris Van Vliet interview.
Yeah,
I think that's the only reason he turned up.
He's
done this stuff in AEW before with the Young Bucks.
Yeah, he was on AEW, but I'm sure he wrestled. Did he not do one of the Casino Battle Royales? I'm pretty sure. Can't remember, but
he just had a bunch of old men in that. DDP was in it. Tommy Dreamer was in it.
Nigel McGuinness described it as unholy afterbirth. He's not wrong. Like, it was that chaotic.
I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with this.
It was really, really good.
This in the main event, but a lot. Obviously, you spoke about the opener. Opener's one of the best wrestling match, but this in the main event, I had the most fun watching.
Yeah, I thought it was good. It was good. With the first of 3 main events, we had TBS, we had Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Moné. Can I just start by saying the entrance from Mercedes was excellent and just made her look box office. For Mercedes' first match in a long, long time, and there will have been, and I'm not saying that's disrespectful to Willow Nightingale, there will have been worries for Mercedes that she was going back in with Willow. For that, I thought this was, with the circumstance involved, was brilliant. Like, very good. Right call as well.
She's no missed a beat, is she?
Nah, she's still...
I still think
so good.
Heads should roll in WWE for letting Sasha Banks walk in that company.
Yeah.
Like,
how
the hell
was
do
Vince,
you
though.
screw up Sasha Banks?
That was Vince.
It was Vince, it was Laurinaitis didn't help, and we know that they two.
Yeah.
But still, I know they two should end up in jail for many other reasons.
No.
But allegedly, for many other alleged reasons. But I mean, letting Sasha Banks walk out should be top of the list.
Yeah.
Jeez, how the hell? But even Triple H, like, you had that negotiating table, and you didn't give her what she wanted. You should have just paid her. We spoke earlier on about how Raw don't have many faces to face Liv right now. There's a perfectly good Sasha Banks that you could have had, but you didn't.
Do you think she's going to be a babyface after this?
No, but that's a different story. No, because
I don't think a lot of the crowd wanted her to be a babyface. Willow's hard to boo, right? And we'll get into this with the heel turn at the end. But I thought Mercedes looked a perfect heel here, and that's why I don't know if they'll go for her and Tony. All in. Like,
I mean, Tony's a face. You could easily turn Tony face.
Yeah, you can. I'm beginning to think they might go Jamie or Britt for Owen Hart Cup.
That's who I thought. See, when they came out, there's going to be a big surprise the night. I genuinely thought it'd be Britt and Jamie coming out as a pair.
Yeah.
I didn't really think MJF, because a lot of the rumours were for Bandor. He'd return.
That was 100%. The winners at All In, the winners of the Owen Hart. That was 100% following the King of the Ring. That wasn't the plan before that. 100%. That was what was happening.
No, but it was to be announced. But what I was saying was, I still think it when the rumours came out, MJF might be returning. All the rumours pointed to he'll come back up for Bandor.
Yeah. And
then it came. I think WrestleVotes put a tweet out last night saying, I've just been told watch the start of Double or Nothing because there's a surprise coming.
Yeah.
When I first read that, I thought could be Britt and Jamie.
Possibly.
Because he'd look, but no, it was about MJF, which I am far from complaining about.
No.
But I don't know what you do. I don't know what the script is with Jamie and Britt.
I don't know. I think
they're both in. Jamie's been injured for a while. She's been in for about a year.
So's Britt. I can't remember. I think Britt was there after Christmas, just before Christmas. I think it's the last time I saw Britt.
Britt's been a while. Britt's been in for a while.
We're obviously, I thought the Statlander. I've been waiting for Chris Statlander to turn heel for a while. Like,
yeah,
I thought that was well done, and you've got that can be built. That can build to something that's probably going to be a program down the line.
September last year was Britt Baker's last match.
Yeah, I knew it was sometimes about that. But Chris Statlander, I think, could be really good as a heel. Mercedes, I think, is going to be a heel going forward. Willow is a babyface. I think the plan will be for Willow to win back the TBS title. Like, that's probably what I can see happening. And that just was ideal. I thought it was a really good way to do this.
Yeah, I mean, the match, I thought it was a very good match. What I will say, we spoke about how AEW's long match cards are too long, but somehow they managed to make it too long and also not let it stop breathe. Because this was a big heel turn, big moment, and then it was instantly, right, she's turned, next match.
Yeah.
But and they didn't let it breathe.
The next match.
You remember the worst case of this? It was Christopher Daniels. Do you remember this?
I don't know.
Christopher Daniels, Chris Verdant, who was his tag? Mine's gone blank here. It was
Scorpio Sky.
whenever the
SCU.
When SCU lost their next match, they would have to split up. The Young Bucks beat them on Dynamite, and they didn't let it breathe. The Young Bucks beat them. They had a hug in the ring, and that was it.
Yeah.
Next segment, I think it was the Bucks. They get beat anyway.
Yeah.
And and they didn't let it breathe. They just like, oh no, they're broken up. Right, what we do now? So AEW and Tony need to work on the sort of pacing of these big moments and letting them breathe.
Yeah. I thought this next match would get lost in the shuffle, but I don't think it did. Swerve and Christian, I thought was again in a match that was in an event that had a lot of action and a lot of quite chaotic matches, and we'll talk about the last one. This was really, really good again, and Swerve is just so good, and Christian again is the perfect heel for him to go on with, and I think how good is Shayna Wayne? She's brilliant. She's really good. And I was like, what the hell are they doing there? And then she's turned out pretty good. Swerve, I think, is such an improver. And he's just getting so much better. And Christian was a perfect opponent. And again, my call in this was exactly the way it should have been. And it's not often I say that about Tony Khan, but I thought this would get lost. But I probably looked at this as probably one of my favourite moments of the night because it just made the championship really well done.
I still think the build could have done more.
The build was that's why I thought it would get lost, because I thought they'd not built this very well when they've clearly been making the main event the main thing. This is
think for Swerve's first defence, still think it could have been more from a storyline point of view. But yeah, it was a good match. I can't really many complaints about the match. I thought, how good is Prince Nana?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good on both sides. You had Prince Nana and then you had Shayna. It was like
it was a good sort of contrast. Prince Nana being mental and she looking depressed and serious.
Yeah.
So I thought overall, yeah.
Do you think they're making Swerve as like the anti-elite long term? And do you think we're getting like Perry next or something, because they've obviously been building in Dynamite like the Elite and Swerve. There's things there. Swerve's got his other thing as well with Mogul Embassy. There's seems to be too much happening with Swerve, I thought, but they're clearly.
I don't mind that.
I don't mind it either, especially when you've got a lot of TV. No, I don't either. But we'll get into obviously the main event next, but I kind of came away from last week's Dynamite thinking, right, they're gonna, once this is all done with the Anarchy in the arena, they're gonna turn their attention to Swerve, and it's Jack Perry, for all you did for getting rid of this poison, you're gonna get Swerve. But that's kind of what I thought they were.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is there not? Well, it's Forbidden Door next. Do you have him face a New Japan guy? Who
Ooh.
Because all the main ones have left.
Well, you could do Jack. Jack's still technically New Japan, is he not?
No, because him and Tony had that thing when he just before he turned, they shook his hand and welcomed him back and whatever.
Yeah, there's probably a lot you can do, but let's get into the main event. Anarchy in the arena. It was just madness. Did you hear Justin Roberts? Did you see Justin Roberts' intro? You know what he said? That was brilliant. Welcome to the shit show. That was brilliant.
Yeah. I love it. I love the Elite at the start with Final Countdown.
That was good as well. And
apparently that's legit. Apparently it cost
200 grand. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I know there was something with that because there was something else. There was another music that they copied instead. There was something else. I can't remember off the top of my head. And it was round about that. No, I tell you what it was. Yeah. See when at One Night Stand, have you noticed that if you watch back One Night Stand, the Enter Sandman isn't there? Yeah. If you watch it back, it's because I think they wanted something. Metallica wanted like 150 grand or something to play it. Because obviously
that's why
they played it. ACW played it without any. They didn't pay Metallica. but apparently they wanted 150 grand to play it back.
When Danielson was doing his first negotiation, obviously left WWE, he was doing his negotiation with Tony. He went to Tony, can I get a final countdown? And Tony went, I'll try. So Tony spoke to Europe, who was saying it?
Yeah.
Yeah, spoke to Europe and they went, that was 200 grand for every time you play it. And Tony went to Danielson, no. They bring it for big matches, brought it for this. Brought it for Bindo last year
They
for
gave
the
it,
Okada
yeah,
match.
Okada match. And I think they did it for Sabre Jr.
No, they done it all out
All
for
out Omega.
No,
No,
it wasn't Omega.
they did it. Did they not do it for MJF? At Revolution?
They might have, but they definitely done it all out for Daniel Garcia. Because Garcia was meant to face Punk, but
Yeah.
Punk gets sacked.
Yeah.
So Danielson was still injured. So Tony said, Brian, help us out. Brian went, aye, all right. So he was able to get fight. So he got all out instead of every single week because, geez, I know Tony's rich. I know his dad's rich, but bloody hell. Fulham won't be saying a cent and a half if they played that every week.
There is a lot in this that we could probably dissect, and this is probably the one match that we can't dissect because there's way too much. And at times that's not a good thing, but for here it was fine. You had obviously the flamethrower. You had Darby Allin, was clearly still nursing being hit by a bus, which I still think is hilarious. He couldn't climb Everest, so he gets hit by a bus. But the one I thought at times Okada was a bit out of place.
He doesn't suit that match, I don't think.
No. And again, I'm not saying that he maybe will need to do this time to time, but I just think if there's one guy in that match that just didn't suit where he was, it was Okada. But Perry was good. Tony shouldn't have been there.
That was so funny. I've watched that far too many times. Him rolling. Are you still rolling? I'm convinced. He's still rolling that up.
Do you think that's good for Tony Khan's image though?
No, but it's good for me because I thought
it was hilarious. Don't get me wrong. I had a wee belly laugh, but there's a lot. The Darby Allin's just a nutcase. Like he's.
Have you seen Jack? You know when Jack Perry went in the ice bath? Have you seen that? Have you seen what that was?
No.
Jack Perry went in the ice. It was an ice bath sort of cold plunge type thing.
Yeah.
That was like skin protective gel to set him on fire.
That makes sense. Because
it makes complete sense. But I didn't know it was at the time. Who was it? I heard it online from like one of the viewers or whatever. That was the jet. It's like a type of gel that like these stunt men and all these mental pricks use for films and that. It was what it was. It was that gel, so you could set him on fire, and then he ran and done. It was I had a lot of fun.
It was wild.
I'm surprised they didn't do a gun spot. I thought they would have done some form of gun spot.
Yeah, like
so they can't really get cleared this week of the.
Did you see? Was the Dax getting hit? Did Dax get hit by a beer can? Did I imagine that? Because he was because he started bleeding, but apparently it was because a fan hit him with a beer can.
I didn't see that.
I'm sure I seen that. And I didn't see it in the show, but I'm sure because Dax was bleeding, and I was like, did that? How did he get? Because you didn't really see, and apparently it was something to do with he get hit by a beer can by a fan or something. But it was just madness, wasn't it? It was bonkers, and these matches always are.
Yeah.
But
the Elite winning was perfect, but the Elite had to win that.
And it was the right call. It was Perry and Dan. I thought that was the right way to do it. I think Perry needed to do to get the win. So it was such a contrast. Like it was WWE's show was mainly a WWE show. AEW's show was just chaotic. Like there's so many different styles, but it worked. But the one thing is, it was too long. That was the one complaint I have with it is it was too long and there was too much happening. Like being there as a fan, it'd have probably been great, but I thought it was quite a long watch because there was so much going on.
Ending a long show with a match like Anarchy in the Ring is a very good call.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to compare it to Mania. It wasn't as long, but Mania 35, that ended with a pretty good, okay to good triple threat match.
The one thing is though, like the Mania was so slow paced. This wasn't.
That's what I'm saying. The main event
good.
was slow
Yeah.
paced. This was just 100 mile an hour
Yeah.
of spot. The crowd didn't have time to get tired. If you get what I mean.
Yeah. Like I was watching this thinking, where are you going to where the crowd going for the toilet break? It's probably Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta. Probably.
Or Chris Jericho, Hook, and Chibata.
Yeah. But again, you were expecting somebody to come out because we were all I wasn't expecting Brian Keith, but I was expecting someone. I was expecting like a Sammy or something. Like
Yeah.
But really
he's maybe come back. His suspension's been lifted apparently.
Did you see that they're planning on having mixed tag titles? Just what we need, more belts.
No, they said mixed tag belts and women's tag belts.
Why? There's too many. That's the one thing, and that's why I think the show is as long as it is. There's too many belts. We don't need all them. You don't need 3 mid.
Although I do think Tony, I've not, from what I gathered, the question, some reason the audio wasn't getting the presser from the clip I watched.
Yeah.
But I think the interviewer asked him, "Are you going to bring in women's tag or mixed tag belts?" And I can't. It's difficult to ultimately say no or no.
Mm-hmm.
I think he didn't say yes. He kind of said, "Oh, we'll maybe look into that idea, or whatever," which is kind of a BBC answer of no, but I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
So I'd be very, very shocked if he did bring them in, personally.
Thankfully, we've got a wee bit of a lull for a week or so. There's not much happening for the next. I think next one's Battleground, which is the week before Clash. I'm pretty sure I think we need a wee rest. There's been a lot for Mania. You've had Dynasty. You've had Backlash. Next June 9th, so we're pretty good until then. Then obviously get Clash the week after. I think we need a wee kind of few days just to kind of calm down a bit because there's been a lot happening. But I think 2 very good shows there. I think it's very, very, very happy
very
with that.
Different shows, but very different in a good way.
Yeah. We'll be back next week. We'll do something a bit fun next week for that wee lull week we'll talk about, and then we'll be kind of back into kind of NXT and Clash as we build up to Clash at the Castle. Mate, thoroughly enjoyed that as always. Thank you very much.
No, mate, I enjoyed it as well. Cheers for having us as always.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you all next week.